Episode 17, people. Elephant in the room. I want to welcome everybody that has been continuing to watch these shows and is back for another week. And everybody who this may be your first episode tuning in, I want to welcome you guys. Elephant in the room. We basically cover the biggest topics of the week. I give you my take on it. I give you my truly honest opinion on it. But while being truly honest, I also, would like to carry a form of respect. You know what I mean? Because that's what I think everybody should do. But in this world nowadays, that's not really like a thing. So this thing that I am exuding now with my show, this is so rare now. But, before you were taught to give respect. Respect wasn't something that was rare. You just gave it, even if you didn't know anybody. If you had a comment on something they did, something they wore, you gonna give your opinion, especially if asked, but you're gonna do it respectfully. You know what I mean? That was a common thing back in the day, but now it's just so rare. Nowadays, people want to go viral. People want to get rich based off of lies and disrespect. So this show is not for that. Anybody who was tuning in for that, I'm going to tell you right now, in under 2 minutes of this show, this is not the place for you. Uh, we have a packed show today. But before I go any further, like I said, I don't start any show without giving my supporters a shout out. Everybody who has continued to support this show. This may be your first time on here, but you supported my music before. You supported Scale before. I want to thank you guys, man, because like I said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing none of this. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know none of this was possible. So, everybody, man, everybody who has continued to watch this show, even for the first time viewers, thank you guys. Thank you guys for giving me a piece of your time on this beautiful day. Also, my latest project, Gold Tape, is available right now. Again, it is an absolute classic. I am going to continue to say that until each and every last one of you guys listen to it. I see the numbers. I know the type of algorithm that album is working with. And while it is climbing, it ain't nowhere to where I want it to be. So like I said, before I get into the show, I want to let you guys know my latest project, Gold Tape, which is my third studio album. It is in everywhere right now. Everywhere music can be sold, everywhere music can be heard, everywhere music can be listened to. Please go check that out. And once you get finished checking that out, go check out my previous projects, which is my first studio album. This one's for you, Dad. Absolute classic. Second one is Scale Tape. I'm sorry about that. And my latest one is Gold Tape. And again, all three are available now everywhere music is sold, everywhere music can be heard. With that being said, man, we're gonna jump right into it, people. We have a packed show today. Like I said, I'm gonna try not to take up too much of your time, but it's a packed show today. The first thing we're gonna talk about is LeBron James. LeBron James is always in the news for many reasons. This week, people were dissecting and criticizing his appearance on the Pat McAfee show. For those of you who don't know, Pat McAfee is a former punter. I believe he played for the Indianapolis Colts, and he has an incredible show on ESPN. If for the common listeners, ESPN just paid him a boatload of money to have his show on ESPN. So a couple months ago, he had grabbed the news with that. But Pat McAfee, it's a really dope show. He has a slew of co-hosts, and my apologies, fellas, I don't know all of your names. So if I don't know all of your names, I'm not going to be disrespectful and name some of your names and leave some of you out as if you don't have nothing to do with the show, because you absolutely do. And you guys play an incredible piece as to making that show what it is today. Basically, LeBron had went on the show. He was on the show for about a little over an hour, and they discussed a plethora of things. But we all know what got the news. They asked him about the Stephen A. Smith drama. Again, I covered that the last two episodes. 2 episodes ago, I went in deep detail with it. Last week I touched on it a little bit. This week I'm not gonna beat a dead horse with this. Y'all know my opinion as far as with Stephen A. Smith and the LeBron James thing, but the people who were criticizing LeBron for even going on the show and like defending himself. You guys, I mean, again, if I had to guess, I would say that most of the people that's in the public that is doing that with LeBron right now, criticizing him for even standing up for himself, giving his side of the story or whatever version he decides to give us. I mean, those are the same people who probably, again, are not used to consequences. You're not used to consequences. Like I said, like people such as Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless was guilty of this, and a bunch of other people who is now off of TV. Rather it be it was this black older dude who had got in trouble for questioning Robert Griffin III's blackness. I forget his name, but he's no longer on television now. Not on ESPN, I'm gonna say that. And he had got in trouble for that reason. A lot of those people, man, they think they think they the stars. They think their opinion is more important than it actually is. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when somebody else that you've been talking about for years, that you made a career off of talking about, when they come out and decide to stick up for themselves, you, what are we doing criticizing them? I mean, I heard everything from, oh, he's hurting Bronny even more by sticking up for him. Let him be his own man. I heard everything from that to, oh, he should have went on a smaller podcast because he would have bigged them up. And dog, stop telling people how to maneuver with their own success, man. Stop that. Stop that. Again, this show is pretty much opinion based. It is. But like I said, I'm a do this while also knowing my position, knowing my role and playing it and sticking to it. You know what I mean? Like, no, man. Like, if you want to tell that man how to maneuver with his own success, why don't you get famous enough and then you can move with the advice that you're trying to give him? Like, man, I don't get why we even criticizing that dude. I mean, I do get it. It makes for great television at the end of the day, and especially nowadays with with playoff basketball it's about to start in a second. In college basketball, which is supposed to be the most exciting tournament ever right now, we don't really know too many people in college basketball for it to captivate the audience if ESPN or other platforms decide to talk about college sports. So, with playoff basketball, NBA wise starting, so everybody's kind of revving up for that. With college basketball being where it's at, with football being, it's the off season. And baseball just started, but again, baseball don't really captivate the fans like that. So they need something to talk about. This whole Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James saga has been holding ESPN down. Not just ESPN, though, has been holding everybody down for about the past month and a half. Again, like I said, people criticizing LeBron for that. One, if that man decides to go talk on a show, who are you to criticize what platform he decides to use? Oh, he went on that show because he's a control freak. Just because you utilize your power to benefit you, it doesn't mean you are a control freak. I believe we taking that a little out of context, because it's like, yo, just because I realize I have power and I decide to use it at my leisure, that don't mean I'm a control freak. No, I just realize my position and I'm going to play it that way. Like, if I realize I have power and I can take advantage of having power with this subject, this situation, that situation, I'm going to do it. Point me out a person in this world who wouldn't do it. Point me out a person in this world who wouldn't do it. I tell people all the time, what is the sense of having power and you cannot use it? It's pointless, right? It's pointless. The point of me being ahead of this company is I can hire you just because you my man. You don't have no qualifications and you don't have no position. Even you don't have no position. You just don't have, you're just not in position to have a reason to think you can get this job. But because you my man and I'm the head of this company, I'm gonna give you a shot. That's power, bro. It don't mean I'm a control freak. No. Like I said, but with LeBron he been in the league 22 years. So LeBron been famous for about 23 years. Because even before he went to the NBA, he got in the NBA, his high school games was on ESPN. So like people knew who he was before he even got in the league. So yeah, I mean, if he developed some type of power, you can't knock that man for using it. Yeah, so if that man wanna, now ESPN is hitting us with the race baiting thing. Oh, why did he go on the white man show? I mean, they didn't say it like that, but I'm paraphrasing. But again, when Kendrick Perkins, LeBron is launching another podcast, Mind of the Game, which he used to have with JJ Redick, but JJ Redick is now his coach. So now JJ Redick can't participate in that anymore. So he brought in Steve Nash to co-host with him, that being LeBron James. And you got Kendrick Perkins on ESPN. Oh man, well, you're close with Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye. Why didn't you hire them? Why didn't you do the podcast with Draymond Green? Why are you bringing in Steve Nash? And we all know what that is. 2 + 2 always gonna equal 4. You race baiting. Oh, you gonna hire a white man, but you ain't hired a black man. I don't have to. I hire who the fuck I want to hire with my shit. If you feel like I should hire this person, that person, that person, that person just because the color of their skin, you start a podcast and you do that. You run things the way you see fit. Stop telling people how to maneuver with their own success, man. Stop that. So like I said, I mean, again, my position on it. I mean, LeBron is LeBron. It's my guy. Again, I don't think he did nothing wrong by going on there defending himself, nor going on that platform. It's people out here saying, oh, he shouldn't even went on that platform, strictly because Pat McAfee is white. So now Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith, they like kind of the faces, they are the faces of ESPN. So him going on Pat McAfee show, you got people out here saying, oh, he trying to put down the black man. And come on, man. Like, I don't even, that's a fucking joke. It's a joke. Yeah, so shouts out to LeBron James. Keep doing what you're doing. Stephen A. Smith and everybody over at ESPN, you guys have been a dope ass show for well over a decade. Please continue to be that. And you guys didn't get there by race baiting. You guys didn't get there by doing this clown ass shit that y'all doing. So please cut it out, y'all. Please. Stephen A. Smith is getting a little big for his britches, you know what I mean? A little full of himself, but he deserved to be. That man worked hard. And deserved to be where he at. But while you deserve to be where you at, you better watch what tree you climb up. Because I mean, well, y'all know the rest. That tree will fall on you. So there you have it with that. While we on sports, I'm gonna tell you guys in advance, this whole thing of when I always say you can never tell somebody how to maneuver with their own success, I am going to completely 1000% contradict myself with this next subject. Well, I'm gonna try not to. But you can't not talk about it. This Ja Morant thing. Ja Morant. For those of you who don't know, which I understand a lot of you guys who watch this, y'all probably know who he is. But for all the new listeners on here that may, just be a casual, supporter of me, may not know who this person is. Ja Morant is also an NBA player, super duper talented. Uh, he has been in the news lately for making gun gestures after a made bucket, or just, it don't even have to be a made bucket. It could just he's been doing this gun gesture thing, celebration. Just, he's been doing it the last 2 games, I believe. So the reason why this is news, because a few years ago, if you guys remember, he was also in the news for actually having guns. He was caught. He was caught on camera like 2 years ago in Denver, Colorado, after Denver Nuggets, after the Memphis Grizzlies. That's what team he plays for, by the way. I'm sorry. He's an NBA player, plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's in like his third or fourth season. Again, he's one of the top young guys in the league. They went to Denver, Colorado to play the Denver Nuggets. And, after the game, I believe they went to like a club that was like closed off to the public and was like privately like ran open that night specifically for the Memphis Grizzlies. And camera phones is out. Cameras are everywhere. So he was in the club and with a gun out. That was his exact movements in that club. I don't know what song he was. I don't know what song would make you do some shit like that. I don't know, but so he had gotten hot water for that. So they suspended him, right? But they only suspended him about when they initially announced the suspension, and this was in like 2022. So initially, when they announced the suspension, they just said indefinitely. They didn't even give a date as to when he could come back. None of that. But he had ended up only being out 7 games. And maybe like a month later, he riding in the car with his homeboy on IG Live. So it's, his man with Ja Morant. Ja Morant, that's a name that'll, get you to where you need to be out here. You know what I'm saying? If if you can catch on camera you in the car with him, just you and him, that's gonna boost your status. So it's homie on live, and he goes to show Ja Morant. Ja Morant got another pistol in his hand, riding in the car. So now you may understand why him making gun gestures on the court is news. My take on that dude is incredibly stupid, and he will play himself out of his position. Ja Morant, super talented. Super talented. It was my guy. That was my guy. I do not support that dude at all. Just because of stupidity. And my rant about him, it ain't even a rant. He's stupid. He's him already. He's stuck in his ways. I personally believe this contract that he's in right now, it's a big one. This will be the last big contract he will ever receive. I mean, because while he's super talented, he don't make that much of a difference on the court in terms of winning. He's also gained the reputation of being a little injury prone. So now, when your problems start to outweigh the benefits of an organization having you a part of their team, a part of their company, you become a liability. And that is what he's becoming right now. And I know it's hard for him to see. I know it's hard for y'all to see. Again, my rant is for the people out there in the social media world who's actually trying to defend this. I'm going to get to y'all in a second, but Ja Morant, he don't even realize that he's playing himself. He don't even realize he a liability. Because right now, he has what most of us call fuck you money. Buku money, both in football, basketball, baseball. Bro, they are paying them an absurd amount of money, which they deserve, by the way. I am not one of them dudes who, man, they paying them so much money. Meanwhile, homeless people are... I'm not one of them. Them dudes are generating billions of dollars for people, for owners. So the least they deserve is a couple $100 million, $1 billion. You know, so they deserve it with the jersey sales, with, you know, just the simple fact you playing tonight. Now, we was going to charge, you know, $1,500 for our floor seats or close to the floor seats. Now we're going to charge $3,500 because you in town tonight. Yeah, they just generate money for a slew of people. But again, man, so he has fuck you money. A huge contract, right? So it don't seem like I said, the latest I heard about it, the NBA fined him $75,000. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing now. But I'm gonna tell you what, bro. They got $6,500 cheeseburgers out here. They got one pair of jeans that'll cost you about 10 racks. They got $4 or $5 million cars out here. And I say that to say, I don't give a damn how much money you got. It's shit out here that will eat your bankroll up if you don't play your shit right. And I'm going to tell you, worse than not having is having it and losing it. See, most of us out here, again, most of us might, you know, we middle class, you know, whatever. We don't know what it's like to be rich. I, for one, cannot tell you what it's like to be rich. So I don't know what I'm missing. But if I was rich, and then I lose it, that's when shit start getting dangerous. That's when motherfuckers start getting suicidal. And that's when people get to Your fault. No, it's your fault. You did this to me. You didn't let me do this. You tried to control me. It's deflecting. So, Ja Morant is a guy who I'm not even gonna speak to him as if I know him, because I don't. But he's a pretty he's an idiot. Uh, Again, he just had an interview saying he's been looked at as the villain for quite some time now. So now he doesn't care, which is cool. You don't even have to tell us you don't care. You maneuvering like that, but you know it's gonna be some shit that come with not caring, which leads me to my next point. You guys out there in social media world who decides to defend that. Oh, they want to control him. They want to control him. The NBA is trying to enslave the players. Well, first thing, man, slavery wasn't a choice. Slavery wasn't a choice. Secondly, they most certainly didn't get paid for being slaves. They didn't get paid $1, a dime, let alone millions of dollars. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all may not understand this. A bunch of us, tomorrow is going to have to go to a place where you absolutely don't want to go to. You're going to have to be there at a certain time. You will be instructed on when you can go on your first break and you can eat whatever breakfast you brought. You have to eat it in between these times right here. Then you got to take your ass back to work. You're going to work for another 2 hours. You're going to go to lunch. You may have this much time to eat your lunch. I don't give a fuck how your day going. Then after lunch, you're going to take your ass back to work. You're going to work for another 2 hours. Then you're going to have your last break. Then you're going to have to make sure whatever work that you are responsible of for that particular day, you're going to have to make sure you're done with it by this time, because if you go over too much, we're going to get your ass for stealing time. That's control, right? That's control too, right? But guess what? You're going to get your monkey ass up and you're going to take your ass to that job. I don't give a fuck how much you hate it. Once it's time to be an adult, it's time to be an adult. You about to graduate from school. You want to get that Gucci. You want to get that Gucci polo with the matching kicks, with the shades, with the belt. You want to rent out that Lambo truck for the week in Miami. You going to be in that motherfucker. I don't give a fuck how much you don't like it. You going to be in that job. Your kid's birthday coming up. You got to make sure you going to have his party all squared away. You know, rent, phone bill, car insurance, car note, that shit ain't gonna never stop. So you can have all these opinions about the white man trying to control you. They want to do this. They want to make us slaves. But you gonna take your ass to work. So in terms of this Ja Morant thing, man, don't hit me with that control shit. Now, you being controlled, your ass might be getting $20 an hour. And that's a decent job. Some of y'all getting paid less than that. And I'm talking to y'all too. I'm not excluding nobody. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to nobody and how much they get paid. Y'all out here taking care of y'all's. And y'all got my respect. Y'all gonna always have that. So I am not trying to be funny on that end. Please don't take me for that. But some of y'all motherfuckers getting paid $20 an hour. So you mean to tell me if a motherfucker, if you calculate some of these NBA players' checks, these motherfuckers get $1,000 a minute? You mean to tell me you not just going to stay out of shit to secure that bag? Everything is controlled, man. When you are of value, that's why I never really got offended by being used. All that mean to me is I was valued. Now, it's up to me if I'm going to continue to allow people and any and everybody to use me. That's different. That's a different story. But if a person decides to use me, if a person tries to use me, only thing I think of that is I'm valued. So once you become valued, you are going to be a part of something at some point. And just like with anything in life, when you are a part of something, there are rules and stipulations that you must abide by from every level of life. We can go to the lowest level. We can go to the street level. You know, a lot of us out here think we thugs, we think we gangsters, we think we on that tight time, we maneuver, you know, we go by street rules. A lot of us adapt that, right? So if I'm a big dope boy, I'm a big drug dealer, I got all the bricks, all the pills in the world, all the pounds of weed, I got all that type shit, and you want to get money with me. So now I get the word that, you know what I mean, you want to join me, you know what I mean, you want to be a part of what I got going on. And I get in your business a little bit. All right, let me do a little digging on this dude. And I look and I see you a dude that always like to be on the scene. You always like to make a scene. You always getting into it with other dudes because you're messing with they broad, or you trying to flex on them. So you in the club, so you want to make sure your bankroll bigger than theirs. You want to make sure you get more bottles than they got. You basically causing a whole lot of unwanted attention to yourself. 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna fuck with you, because all that unwanted attention you bringing upon yourself, I'm not about to voluntarily join that. No. But say if hell freezes over and I do decide to, you know what, I'm gonna give you a shot. I'm gonna try to fuck with you. I'm gonna sit you down. Hey, listen, bro. All that shit you doing, if you gonna fuck with me, that shit has to come to a cease. All of that having problems with dudes that you could have clearly avoided. It's one thing to have a problem with somebody if they trying to take something from you. They trying to, you know what I mean? They trying to run over you. That's different. But if you having problems with dudes just because you feel like flossing on them for reasons you could have avoided, I ain't going for that. You got to tone your shit down. And if I hear about anything that you out there doing that you may be causing unwanted attention to yourself, what will then lead to causing unwanted attention to me, I'm not fucking with you no more. That's the lowest level. That's the lowest level. That's in the street. So you mean to tell me you want to be a part of this multi-billion-dollar business, and these motherfuckers are actually interested in giving you a piece of that? But just don't make an ass out yourself, man. Don't be out here impersonating a gangster. And you could say what you want. Oh, it's a celebration. I heard people out there saying, well, Cam Bridges do it. And what about LeBron James with the... LeBron James ain't never been on camera with real pistols. Bridges for the Knicks, he ain't never been on IG Live in the car with his man with real pistols. I'm not saying they don't got them around. I'm not saying that. But whatever happened to the rule of you show that motherfucker, you better use it. That motherfucking clown just showing that shit off. Like it's a new bracelet he got. Like it's a new rollie. For what? Shit not doing nothing for you. Shit ain't getting you no type. Like, bruh, like what's going on? So like I said, every part of life is controlled to a certain extent. You know, I know a lot of us out here want to move around like we our own boss, but the thing about being your own boss, you gotta actually be your own boss. You can't be portraying like you your own boss. You can't be moving like you your own boss. And you can't lie to yourself as if you are your own boss when you are not. Because that is when reality is going to bite the shit out of you at some point in your life. So, like I said, like it's like for everybody, and I'm gonna apologize in advance to Ray Lewis because I don't mean to rehash this because there's people out here who may listen to this. They young enough to not know what the hell I'm referring to right now. But could y'all imagine, for everybody out there, if you know, you know. Could you imagine if back in the day Ray Lewis would have sacked the quarterback and got up and did this? And FYI, Ray Lewis used to do this. For those of you who don't know who Ray Lewis is, he's a Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning linebacker, middle linebacker, probably the greatest middle linebacker to ever play the game. He played for the Baltimore Ravens. In the prime of his career, he was tried for murder, stabbing a guy in a club. And he got found not guilty and got to carry on with his career, but that gave you like that OJ feel. It was like, yeah, we want him to be innocent because he's Ray Lewis. We want to see him on the field. And this was dead smack in the middle of his prime. But once the case was over and you started paying attention to the evidence and the facts, and yo, he might have really did that shit. And again, I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not saying it's factual. I'm just giving my opinion. But don't you know how when OJ was going through his shit, we wanted him to be guilty. We didn't give a fuck if he did it or not. Because it's white versus black. It just was what it was. Right? But after he got found not guilty, and you started paying attention, it's like, wait a minute. This motherfucker, he might have really did that shit. It was the same thing with the Ray Lewis shit. Could you imagine, like, if Ray Lewis did all of that, and he used to do that. He used to do this celebration before he got into that shit. And it wasn't until after that he stopped doing that. Why? Because you already have a stigma of being possibly this type of person. You don't want to play to it. Especially if it's not getting you no fucking money. So with Ja Morant again, he's stupid, he's done, he's him already. But for all of y'all out there, so my rant is not for him. It's for all you motherfuckers out there that's trying to defend it. Like, yo, bro, like, how is that helping? It's not helping, bro. It's not. That shit ain't doing you nothing but losing you money. But it's okay because right now you have fuck you money. Let's see how long that fuck you money lasts. He ain't gonna ever smarten up. He done told you himself he don't care. But for the person coming behind that, listen, man. Yes. No matter what you decide to do in your life, there's going to be a form of control in your life. Whether you decide to work a career job, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a CEO, you are going to have to answer to somebody. Even if you don't have to answer to somebody above you, you're going to have to answer to your co-workers, the people who work under you, and the people who depend on whatever product you decide to give to the world. You know what I mean? So like I said, every level of life you're going to have some form of control. But a lot of us are being controlled out here for $20 a fucking hour. So as much as you on Instagram typing this bullshit up about how Ja Morant need to be him, he need to live his life, you gonna make sure you be your ass at work tomorrow early, ain't you? Why? Because it's time to adult. It's time to be an adult. I got shit I gotta pay for. I got shit I gotta do. And in order for me to be able to do these things, I have to make sure I have the financial stability to be able to do it. So I gotta be at this job that I don't like for 8 hours, sometimes 12, sometimes maybe even 16 hours a day. And this dumb motherfucker getting paid millions. He a slave though? Y'all smarten up out there, people. Smarten up. Please smarten up. Please smarten up. So I talked enough about that. Getting off that, switching subjects real quick. We have another situation where people are in legal trouble. As I told you guys a couple weeks ago, Big U, he's caught up in a RICO charge right now. Big U is a famous Crip based out of Los Angeles, California. And he's just, famously known for being involved with people such as Nipsey Hussle, people just being a part of the West Coast culture, period. He's currently in federal custody right now on RICO charges. And Wack 100 is one of the guys, I don't know what you want to call him, content creator, podcast, I don't know. But he's like a blood out in Los Angeles, California. But he's like famously known, like he's making his bones off of doing this shit I'm doing on a much higher platform though. You know what I mean? Like, just having an opinion about shit. But again, it's not doing what I'm doing because he's trying his best to go viral. He's being as disrespectful as you can possibly be. And he has just been known for spreading a bunch of lies, like just in the world. Like he's been known for that. So him and Big U were friends at one point. They fell out for whatever reason, some gang shit I'm not about to sit up on here and speak to. No, not even no gang shit. I think it was business shit. I'm sorry. I don't even mean to put that on either gentleman. Like it was some business shit that was going on. But they fell out, and he has been talking about Big U for years now. You know what I mean? Like insisting that he should get in trouble for the Nipsey Hussle murder. Just like trying his best to put him in hot water. I'm not going to go into deep detail because, Wack 100 is one of those dudes I don't find interesting, and I really don't like to ever talk about him on my show, especially after this. But him and Academics, they have kind of like a him Academics. It's a bunch of like podcasters. They like come together. Vlad, the kid from No Jumper, Adam 22. They all have like a stream together, like a platform, like some type of platform together. And Academics was asking Wack 100 about like the role he may have possibly played in Big U being arrested. And so Wack 100 gets mad at Academics, and just like any insecure, immature adult, they start deflecting and start trying to be disrespectful to you and things of that nature. And he just got mad, like, yo, don't play with my name, this and that to the third. And it's like, yo, bro, why you saying don't play with your name? You've been playing with your name for years now. Like him, Academics questioning you about the role you may have possibly played in Big U getting a RICO charge, that's not above your ramifications. Like, no, like that's not so below you that a person not even gonna play with your name like that. Like, no, like you are a guy, like you fit the description of an informant. You have been in front of every microphone, every camera phone, every camera available, telling crimes and offering people to come on whatever platform you are in control of and talk about crimes. So it's like that's not like beneath you. Like, no, bro, you fit the description of an informant. You've been doing all of this teetering, telling shit for a minute. Now, I'm not going to put telling on you because I don't know what you out there doing. Even if you are, that ain't none of my business. But don't be out here talking about don't play with your name, bro. You've been playing with your name forever. Since you've been in the public eye and people knew who you were. The only reason why people know who you are is because of the bullshit you spread online. And when you spread bullshit online, I know that shit fun and games. That shit may even be marketable at one point. But at some point, you're going to have to deal with some shit too. You know, and then this is your version of dealing. I mean, he ain't even really got nothing to deal with. It was just he got mad at academics for even like insinuating he might have played a role in Big U getting arrested. And you know, anybody who's from the street, y'all know, like, that's the worst thing you can be accused of. Well, some of the most worst things you could be accused of is playing a role in getting somebody, you know, arrested or getting somebody, you know, caught up in a RICO charge or any type of case for that matter. So, you know, I ain't really got no deep dive in that. It's just, you know, whack 100. I mean, again, that's not so beneath you to the point you should get mad at a person even asking you that question, because you absolutely fit that role of an informant. You do. I'm just being honest with you. You know, so that's my opinion with that. Another thing I wanted to talk about that's near and dear to my heart, man, is Kid Capri. Kid Capri was he was being interviewed by, I don't know what platform he was on. I don't know what podcast or whatever he was on. But he was getting interviewed, and in the interview, he was saying about Kid Capri. That's, you know, for everybody back in the day, you know, remember Def Comedy Jam? He was the DJ at Def Comedy Jam. For those of you who may not be familiar with Def Comedy Jam, you remember the show Martin Lawrence. That voice you heard was Kid Capri on the intro of every show on the Martin show for at least the first 2 seasons, right? Well, he went on a platform and he said he's never been compensated for the Martin show using his voice. It's a clear case of, it seems to me to be the clear case of that money starting to run out. Martin has been off the air since the 90s. Was only on the air for about 6 to 7 seasons. And it took you all this time to say you weren't compensated for the Martin show. My OGs, man, my OGs. See, when I be out here, talking to young people, like, man, y'all young dudes be wilding. Y'all don't know nothing about this. Y'all be maneuvering like that. Y'all don't be. They be getting, you know, sometimes, you know what I mean? They be pointing out some shit us OGs do too. And this is the case, like when you got Kid Capri, you got motherfuckers like Dame Dash, you got, it's like, yo, y'all doing clown shit, man. Y'all doing clown shit. That's supposed to be, that's something where, like, even if that is true, go about that shit another way. Really try to get, if you feel like you were compensated, because if you wasn't compensated for that long, you probably knew going into that shit you wasn't compensated. You wasn't supposed to be paid for your services. You probably knew that. But now, since this can possibly become a story and it can possibly help you in this interview go viral, you gonna say it. If that's really true and you really didn't get paid for your services, go really try to get paid. You know, grab your lawyer up, take your ass to wherever you need to go to, get in people business, be nosy. Yo, why I want to know, why wasn't I paid for this? Really try to do it. Really try to solve that problem. Don't put this story out in the world and make people possibly feel sorry for you. Like, nah, bro, stop that. Kid Capri is a legend. He's a legend of a DJ, man. And when I heard that, I was upset. I ain't gonna say I was upset, but disappointed. I definitely was, because you know, the OGs, I like to think of myself as OG, and he much older than me. So that's like my OG, like especially in hip hop. He a DJ. I'm a hip hop head. So like, come on, bro, you can't be maneuvering like that. So I'm not here to say he lying, but if you are telling the truth, go about that another way. Really try to get paid. Don't cry for help, you know, in the public, and try to possibly make people look at Martin away, because we all know, if I get on this motherfucker and I be like, man, you know, such and such ain't paid me my money, I'm not even sure if I'm trying to actually get my money. I'm actually trying to throw dirt on your name. Because if I'm really trying to get my money, this damn camera would be the last thing on my mind. I'm trying to get in touch with you. I'm trying to pull up on you. Like, yo, bro, what's going on? Like, I'm really trying to get paid. And if I got to go the legal route, I will do that as well. But getting on camera telling the public, anybody who decides to pay me attention, you didn't pay me for some shit I did for you 30 years ago, is nuts. It's nuts. But, you know, that is what it is. You know, don't got too deep of a dive on that, man. It's just, man, our OGs, we got to start doing better, y'all. We got to start doing better. Speaking of OGs, we have another new accuser in a Diddy case. And this time, they said they were involved in a freak off. And after the freak off, when he was walking around the party, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and LeBron James saw him, or the person, after the freak off. So, Jay-Z learned y'all, didn't he? It went from he raped an underage girl with Diddy to, oh, okay, all right. He did. That's a motherfucker that's gonna fight back. So I'm just gonna say he saw me, because you can't prove I'm lying. So what I want to know is, okay, they seen you. So what? Oh, they were supposed to see you and know that you were not in your right state of mind. And they themselves were supposed to assist you in getting the proper help you needed for that time being. Correct? It's just a clear case of, let me throw some shit at the wall, see what stick. Now, again, I don't even know if y'all out there familiar with that shit, man. I don't even know this story of the new accuser saying LeBron and Jay-Z and Beyonce saw him, or saw them after the freak off. And that's all it said. They saw him. Okay. What? Why is that news? It's to the point. It's obvious now. It's obvious people are lying for attention. You know, they're lying for attention. Um, um, I was about to go to the next subject, but that just, the fact, like, why is that cool, y'all? Why are we accepting that? I know it's entertaining. It was entertaining at first because everything was like shock value, right? Like everything, damn, the nerve. Like, yo, this person actually went in public and said this about this person. Now that shit not shocking, y'all. Like, why? Like, why are we going for this? Why are we entertaining this? We know motherfuckers lying. We know people lying. From Diddy going to jail to his case about to start in a couple weeks. It has been one victim. Now they came out with another victim. So it's a total of 2 victims. But it's hundreds of motherfuckers trying to get money off of the backs of what these victims in a criminal case may have really went through. And in my personal opinion, that is going to fuck it up. These hundreds of people that's out here suing, obviously lying, they can possibly fuck it up for them real victims who may have really been through some shit. And that's not funny to me. You know what I mean? So I tried not to give it attention, you know what I mean? And up to this point, I've been doing a great job at it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't even see how that's entertaining anymore. You know what I mean? But whatever, man. It's the world, you know. You ain't gonna be able to understand everything. Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is an individual, another basketball player, man, extremely talented. One of my personal favorites. He was in the news for allegedly having a kid with a woman and telling the woman he didn't want to have nothing to do with the kid and offered to pay 18 years of child support money up front. So, you know, a lot of that, y'all may have remembered a couple weeks ago, was a mother who had went viral for taking her kids sneaker shopping, and her son picked up a pair of Ant-Man's sneakers, and she said, no, put that back. He don't take care of his kids. Grab a pair of John Morant's. He take care of his kid. He take care of his daughter. First of all, before I give my opinion on how he handled this situation that he is in, none of this is confirmed true. None of it is confirmed true. I do believe he has a baby by this woman. I do believe that. But him offering to pay 18 years of child support, that's the part I don't believe. I don't know how true that is. I don't know. So I'm gonna stay away from that piece of the story. But I want to know, ladies. I don't know about now. Because it's a different world now. But for the majority of my life, a woman always wanted an honest man, decent looking man who makes a decent amount of money and that has a great aware of self, has integrity, principle, morals, gentleman. But notice the first thing I said, you want an honest man. So now, if we are to believe the parts of these stories, and this man told this young lady he don't want a kid with her, why is it cool to continue to go forward with having a kid by the person that said they don't want a kid with you? Because again, like that's the part that, and I know y'all gonna get on my ass, ladies, y'all gonna get on my ass, but this is the point of this show. This is the point of this show. Ladies, if you decide to have fun with an individual for the night, a man, and you somehow get pregnant, but you don't want the kid, you don't give a damn what his opinion is. You getting an abortion. You going with a Plan B pill. You doing whatever you got to do to see to it that you don't end up pregnant. You gonna see to it. I don't give a damn if this dude believe in abortions or not, if he want a kid or not. If you don't want it, you ain't having it. So why can't we have that same type of opinion if we don't want the kid? Now, fellas, and this is just life. If you decide to have fun with a woman, you end up getting her pregnant, you don't want a kid, she want to keep it, bro, you gotta deal with the consequence. You have to take care of your responsibilities. You have to. But what I want to know is, why don't our voice matter? If we have sex, you get pregnant, I want the kid, you don't give a damn what I think, because you don't want to have to go through it. And that's valid. It's valid. You don't want to have to be pregnant. Your body is going to be the one experiencing all these things. I get it. That's valid. But to not have no say so in this shit. And the same thing the other way. If you decide to have fun with a woman, they get pregnant, I don't want the kid, they want the kid. Now in this state, this girl just wanted the kid because he's rich. Knew he had a family, knew he had a girl, all that. How's that fair? And I'm asking knowing it's not fair. But if this is true, let's say we are to believe everything about this story, he is offering to pay 18 years of child support, which would equal out to be, I think they say like 1.4 million or something like that up front, to not to sign away his rights and all of that. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff out about this story, but I don't know if any of that shit is true. I know he does. The only parts I know is true, he does have a baby with this woman. He did tell a woman he didn't want to have anything to do with the kid. And the only reason why I know this is because that young lady came out and confirmed it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know either party. So I don't mean to be speaking as if I know either party, because I don't. But it's just very unfair. Very, 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 very unfair. Very unfair, man. Just to not have a say so in something as monumental as bringing another life in this world. That's something I always wondered. And again, I'm not afraid to say it. This is my opinion. This is my opinion, and my opinion is based off of facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know, like, man, it don't matter what we think. It don't matter what we say. Sometimes it do, though. Like, if you actually with the young lady, y'all actually in a relationship, and y'all can sit down and y'all can talk, like, listen, right now in our life, what we trying to do, we not really ready to bring another baby in here. We not really ready to bring a baby in here. You know what I mean? So your words can have some type of effect. But if you just out here and you wealthy, you rich, and you decide to have fun with a young lady and you slip up, yeah, you having a baby, bro. You having a baby. So, like I said, it's just another case of double standard. But again, we gotta deal with it. We gotta deal with it. But me, for one, I don't think that's fair that he's being judged as if any of this shit is true. But if it is true, the only thing he's tripping about, and I can't even say he really tripping, because I mean, he's offering financial stability for her and this kid, but he don't want to have nothing to do with the kid. And that's if we are to believe everything is true about this story, which we do not know if this shit is true. But if you get a woman pregnant, you should absolutely take responsibility in taking care of that kid. And yes, taking care of that kid is more than just being there financially. You know what I mean? So there you have it with that. Like, it's unfair. It's really unfair. But we about done. We about through all the topics. One last topic that I wanted to bring up as well is Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard just had an interview, and I was supposed to cover this in the Diddy segment. And I apologize to you guys for not tying these two stories together. But Terrence Howard, he had an interview where he said he believed Diddy was trying to indicate that he wanted to have sex with him. He said Diddy would constantly offer to hang out with him. He would offer he wanted help with movie roles, but when he took Diddy up on his offer to help him with the movie roles, he didn't have no movie roles. He wanted Terrence Howard to, help him with some music, but I guess he really didn't want help with the music. Whenever, they would get around each other, Diddy would just look at him and, not have no response to like, hey man, you want help with this movie role, where the role at, what you need help with. He had no response to it. He's just looking. And so I guess, so he wanted to hang out a third time, and Terrence Howard had asked his assistant, well, like, what's up with dude? Why does dude keep wanting to hang out with me? And his assistant was like, well, I think he want to fuck you. So I guess he maneuvered like he felt he should, and not hanging around Diddy any longer. You know what I mean? Which is commendable. Terrence Howard is an individual who I personally think, I believe that story. I don't think Terrence Howard is one of them dudes out here just trying to go viral off a story. So I absolutely believe that. But again, just because I don't believe it don't mean it's true. But him maneuvering like that, that's like, yo, okay, cool. You realized what it was, and you seen to it. You seen fit to not be around him no more. Now, how many of you guys was in that same predicament and may have took him up on his offer, and now you out here crying rape? He drugged you, this and that to the third. You know what I mean? And a lot of people was trying to give Diddy flack for being gay, being involved in gay activities. Listen, man, I had to sit around for 15, 20 years and listen to people tell me how I should mind my business. I shouldn't even have an opinion on gay people. So if y'all gonna choose that to start teasing Diddy, and the fact that he may be involved in gay activities, if y'all gonna take that and like piece it with his case of like, oh, he had to drug them because ain't no dude in their right mind gonna let him fuck them. Like, man, that dude gay as hell, this and that to the third. Man, listen, I ain't got nothing against gay people. I mind my damn business. So if Diddy is involved in gay activities, that is that man's business. And as long as he's keeping it behind closed doors and he's not being open with it, and even if you being open with it, I can, like I tell you guys all the time, I decide what I give attention to. I decide what I allow in this phone. I decide what I allow. I'm the decider on what I read, watch, and pay attention to. So if something don't pique my interest, I'm not gonna pay it any attention. You know what I mean? And like I said, I really don't want to even talk about it, but that's one thing that I'm getting used to now. I have to talk about some things that I may not want to talk about. You know what I mean? So shouts out to Terrence Howard. Yeah, it was just a quick story about how he felt like Diddy was trying to have sex with him, and he did the necessary moves to no longer make himself available to Diddy. So there you have it, people. We are coming up on an hour and 10 minutes. I told you guys it was a lot today. It was a lot to cover today. I tried to be as quick but as thorough as I possibly could be for this episode. I want to thank you guys for your time, everybody who's paid attention to this, everybody who stuck around with me to the end. Appreciate you guys, man. As always, again, that will wrap it up for this week's episode of Elephant in the Room, episode number 17, people. 17. Again, man, please go check out my latest project, Gold Tape, which is out now. Please go check out the project before that one, which is Scale Tape. And when you're done with those two, please go check out my first project. This one's for you, Dad. 3 bodies of work that I am absolutely proud of. Again, for those of you who didn't hear it last week's episode, we are at Scale getting prepared for a summer drop. Summer drop, people. We are in the case of just maintenance. We getting everything together. We had a lot of old material that we had to get out. So while we are doing that, we are also revamping our website, and as well, we are getting ready for the summer drop, people. So get your checkbook ready. I don't want to hear nothing about no discounts. I don't want to hear nothing about none of that. Come with your checkbook ready, y'all. We gave y'all about a year to save up money to get ready for these drops that we about to come out with. So again, people, thank everybody for their support. Thank everybody for your patience. And this was a long one today. I appreciate you guys. Again, I'll see you guys next week for episode number 18 of Elephant in the Room. Please be safe out there, sucker free, and stay out of trouble, people. Until next time, signing off.